finally, let's get to Jeffrey Jedediah Epstein. Okay.
We got a Fox News alert for you. We just learned that Attorney General Pam Bondi has ordered her deputy AG to go meet with Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's former associate, in prison.
Todd Pyro joins us now with the latest. Hey, Todd.
Hey, good morning again, guys. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche saying the following, quote, President Trump has told us to release all credible evidence. If Ghislaine Maxwell has information about anyone who has committed crimes against victims, the FBI and the DOJ will hear what she has to say. I have communicated with counsel for Ms. Maxwell to determine whether she would be willing to speak with prosecutors from the department. I anticipate meeting with Ms. Maxwell in the coming days, end quote. Blanche also saying, quote, justice demands courage. For the first time, the Department of Justice is reaching out to Ghislaine Maxwell to ask, what do you know? FBI Director Kash Patel also signaling his support for the move, reacting online earlier saying, get it. Ghislaine Maxwell is the only associate held criminally or civilly liable in connection with the allegations against Epstein. President Trump called for grand jury transcripts to be unsealed, and the DOJ filed the motion for that on Friday. Back over to you.
All right.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you, Todd.
Epstein back in the headlines.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here.
Maxwell attorney says, we are grateful. Attorney for convicted sex trafficker of minors, Ghislaine Maxwell, we are grateful to President Trump for his commitment to uncovering the truth in this case. And says they're already in discussions with the administration. I can confirm that we are in discussions with the government and that Ghislaine will always testify truthfully. The fix is in. We are grateful to President Trump for his commitment to uncovering the truth in this case, David Oscar Marcus says. We have no other comment at this time. Oh, my God. Oh, my Lord.
The Justice Department now putting out a new statement and saying it could meet with Ghislaine Maxwell in the coming days. She is the longtime associate to the late and notorious sex offender. Maxwell is currently serving a 20-year prison sentence.
She said 2 years ago that the Prince Andrew pic is fake. That's so crazy.
After she was convicted of conspiring with Epstein to sexually abuse minors. The Justice Department now saying, and it's a lengthy statement, but in the part of the statement saying this morning, if Ghislaine Maxwell has information about anyone who has committed crimes against victims, the FBI and the DOJ will hear what she has to say. President Trump, to this point and up and before this,
they cannot be trying to sell that our intelligence services are so bad they didn't think until now to interview Maxwell. No one is buying this. It's so transparently an attempt to collaborate with her to cover all this up with her true testimony to the point as proved. They'll provide nothing else. Yeah. I don't think people will eat it, though. I don't think people will believe it because there's going to be a lot of contradictory information that we know of in this situation, especially if you're trying to present Trump as like completely separate from Jeffrey Epstein. That either, I mean, I could see this going either way. Either they try to like fix it up, nip it in the bud by having Ghislaine come out and be like, all of this was lies. Jeffrey Epstein was like a vociferous, he had a major appetite for child molestation, and no one else, none of the people that were, on his jet ever had said appetite for child sex trafficking, and that I didn't even play a role in it personally. It was just him and him alone. And especially not Donald Trump. Another one could be only Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton did pedophilia with Jeffrey Epstein. No one else. Not Alan Dershowitz. Not Donald Trump. Certainly not Donald Trump. Just Hillary and Bill Clinton. They were just doing all the pedophilia with Jeffrey Epstein. Nobody else. Or the third option, which is they just kill her. I mean, sorry, she gets really sad all of a sudden and does suicide by getting shot twice in the back of the head, by shooting herself twice in the back of the head.
Has made very clear that he is ready to move on from what he called just the last few days the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Though it's very clearly not.
She can't even point to Obama and Biden in this because they were just non-entities. They have no connection to Jeffrey Epstein beyond people that they've hired that were connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Whereas Donald Trump, Bill, and Hillary obviously have direct relationships with Jeffrey Epstein, like very direct relationships. Obama and Biden, they did not have that. Oh, I was going to talk about Mike Baker's timeline and then additional subsequent information on the Epstein connections, which is really interesting. It's interesting seeing like New York Times reporters like finally talk about this, because it's not like a TrueAnon anymore. You know what I mean? It's not relegated to the text. It's not relegated to like journalists, independent journalists, like piecing together details. Now you have like a fully fleshed out narrative coming from the paper of record. But yeah, amid all the noise, it can be hard to figure out the facts on the Epstein-Trump relationship, says Mike Baker, national correspondent for the New York Times. Here is year-by-year timeline thread summarizing the connections with sourcing and documentation from 1990 until present. In 1990, Jeffrey Epstein buys a property 2 miles north of Mar-a-Lago. 2 years later, in 1992, NBC video shows Epstein and Trump partying at Mar-a-Lago at an event featuring Buffalo Bills cheerleaders.
A tape in the NBC archives of a Mar-a-Lago party shows Trump giving Epstein his personal attention.
Donald! Donald! Donald!
The footage, shot in November of 1992, before Trump opened the resort as a club, shows the future president surrounded by cheerleaders for the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins, capturing Trump's fun-loving bachelor lifestyle for an appearance on Faith Daniels' NBC talk show.
We're going to get great ratings in your show.
After a while, Trump goes to greet 3 new guests, among them the financier Jeffrey Epstein.
Come on in, go inside.
More than a decade before his guilty plea on state prostitution charges.
Donald Trump knew the cameras were there. In the video, he makes a point to draw Epstein's attention to them. And the video captures Donald Trump and Epstein chatting while watching a group of women at the party dance. It's not an image that matches Trump's declaration that he was not a fan of Epstein's.
Weeks later, still in 1992, another Mar-a-Lago party was for a calendar girl competition. Epstein and Trump were there. Jill Harth later accused Mr. Trump of sexually assaulting her that night. Trump denied the allegations. Reporting from the New York Times. In a lawsuit, Ms. Harth said that Mr. Trump took her into a bedroom and forcibly kissed her and fondled her and restrained her from leaving. She also said that a 22-year-old contestant told her that Mr. Trump later that night crawled into her bed uninvited. Real demon Trump was, and it still is, but certainly was back then too. In 1993, Stacey Williams said that Epstein brought her to meet Trump at Trump Tower. She told the New York Times that Trump groped her in the meeting, touching her breasts and buttocks. Trump denies it. That year, he was listed as being on Epstein's jet 4 times. We saw an interview, a recent interview she conducted as well, recounting the incident. In 1994, he was listed as being on Epstein's plane on 1 day. In 1995, Maria Farmer said she encountered Trump at Epstein's office. She said Epstein entered and said, "She's not here for you." The White House says he was never in Epstein's office. Trump was listed on Epstein's plane once that year. Ms. Farmer said she recalled feeling scared as Mr. Trump stared at her bare legs. Then Mr. Epstein entered the room, and she recalled him saying to Mr. Trump, "No, she's not here for you." The 2 men left the room. Ms. Farmer said she could hear Mr. Trump commenting that he thought Ms. Farmer was 16 years old. After her encounter with Mr. Trump, Ms. Farmer said she had no other alarming interactions with him and did not seem engaged in inappropriate conduct with girls or women. In 1996, records show Farmer complained about Epstein to New York Police Department. She said she told the FBI to look at the powerful people in Epstein's world, including Clinton and Trump. She said she had no evidence of them doing anything criminally wrong. In 1997, Trump and Epstein are spotted at a Victoria's Secret Angels party in Manhattan, the left photo here, and also photographed together at Mar-a-Lago on the right photo here. Trump was listed on Epstein's jet once that year. In 2000, Trump and now wife Melania were at Mar-a-Lago with Epstein and Maxwell. Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre was working at Mar-a-Lago and said that Maxwell approached her that year, inviting the 16-year-old to be Epstein's traveling masseuse. Remember, as I told you, Epstein used Mar-a-Lago as a hunting ground for young girls. In 2002, Trump tells New York Magazine that Epstein is a terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. This was a positive article in New York Magazine. International money man of mystery, Jeffrey Epstein, and all of his wonderful friends. He's pals with a passel of Nobel Prize winning scientists, CEOs like Leslie Wexner of the Limited Socialite, of the limited, socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, even Donald Trump. But it wasn't until he flew Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, and Chris Tucker to Africa on his private Boeing 727 that the world began to wonder who he is. International money man of mystery. That's right, Chris Tucker. It's true. In 2003, according to the Wall Street Journal, Epstein received a 50th birthday message bearing Trump's name. The message, according to the Journal, included the outline of a naked woman and Donald written as the pubic hair. This is the letter where he was like, ooh, we have secrets, we have mysteries, I'll never tell a soul. In 2004, Trump and Epstein battled for control of a Palm Beach property. Trump won. Trump has since said he is not a fan of Epstein and that he kicked Epstein out of his club for being creepy. In 2006, records show that the FBI came to speak with Epstein victim Maria Farmer. She said that the conversation included her reiterating her 1995 encounter with Trump and concerns about all the powerful people around Epstein. The FBI notes released are so far heavily redacted. In 2020, during an Oval Office meeting, a year after Epstein's death, Trump brought up an article that had been published about Maxwell. As Maggie Haberman from the New York Times reported in her book that Trump asked, "She say anything about me?" Trump raised Ghislaine Maxwell link with AIDS. Perhaps he was worried. Weeks later in 2020, Trump spoke about Maxwell publicly and said several times, "I wish her well." If you recall, this was the weird interview that he had.
Mr. President, the other day a reporter asked you about Ghislaine Maxwell. You said, quote, "I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well, whatever it is." Mr. President, Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested on allegations of child sex trafficking. Why would you wish such a person well?
First of all, I don't know that, but I do know that
She has. She's been arrested for that. You know
her
that.
friend or boyfriend
Epstein
was either killed or committed suicide in jail. She's now in jail. Yeah, I wish her well. I'd wish you well. I'd wish a lot of people well. Good luck. Let them prove somebody was guilty. I mean, do you know that
Oh,
she's
so you're
guilty?
saying you hope she doesn't die in jail? Is that what you mean by wish her well?
Her boyfriend died in jail, and people are still trying to figure out, how did it happen? Was it suicide? Was he killed? And I do wish her well. I'm not looking for anything bad for her. I'm not looking bad for anybody. And they took that and
I mean, she's
made
a
it
child
such
alleged child sex
a
trafficker.
big deal. But all it is her boyfriend died. He died in jail. Was he killed? Was it suicide? I do. I wish her well.
Incredible. This year, Trump has called the Epstein files a hoax and a smear campaign by the Democrats. He has criticized those, including many who supported him, who have clamored for their release.
Intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your attorney general...
Like you said before, whenever else do you hear him talk like that? That much charity? Never. Trump is notorious for never really offering any charity to anyone at all, especially a person that is like is going to harm him by association. It's alarming. It is one of, I think, the most shocking parts about this relationship that invites a lot more scrutiny, that it shows that the connection between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell is perhaps more important and goes deeper than we think.
Told you this was a hoax. What evidence have you seen
It's
of
not
that?
the Attorney General. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net. And so they try and do the Democrats' work. The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy. They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running. He may get elected too, actually, but he'll destroy the city. It's I call it the Epstein hoax. It takes a lot of time and effort. Instead of talking about the great achievements, we've had a great gentleman. Yesterday, as you know, went on CNBC and he made the statement that Trump may go down as the greatest president.
Okay, the rest is This article takes a deeper look at the Trump-Epstein relationship over the years. It's on the New York Times. And here's Mike Baker. Once again, I spoke with Annie Farmer, who testified in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. She fears the prospect of leniency for Maxwell and said that Maxwell is not a reliable narrator of events. Hold on, let me fix the gray bars. Once again, gray bars again. She fears the prospect of leniency for Maxwell and said that Maxwell is not a reliable narrator of events. She called Maxwell the primary architect of the abuse in Epstein's orbit. Okay? Annie Farmer, who testified against Ms. Maxwell when she was convicted in her 2021 trial, said in an interview on Tuesday that she worried that Ms. Maxwell would try to secure a more lenient sentence. In interviews and testimony, Ms. Farmer has described how she visited him at his ranch in New Mexico under the impression that a number of students would be there chaperoned by Ms. Maxwell. But Ms. Farmer, who was 16 years old at the time, found herself to be the only one and recalled troubling interactions with both of them. Ms. Maxwell was the primary architect of Mr. Epstein's abuse of girls, she said. It would be a terrible blow to all the women who she harmed and who found some measure of solace in the fact that she was held accountable for some of her many crimes, Ms. Farmer added. And this follows up with the rest of the reporting. DOJ wants to meet Ghislaine Maxwell. The request came from Todd Blanche, a former criminal defense lawyer for Trump, the one that we saw on CNN the other day saying Jeffrey Epstein, I don't know, he might have been. Remember, Todd Blanche was a former criminal defense lawyer for Trump and also, most notably, the former defense lawyer that was 9 days into Jeffrey Epstein's case when Jeffrey Epstein died under mysterious circumstances. Maxwell lawyer says we are grateful to President Trump and victims are fearing that Maxwell might get leniency. Maybe Ghislaine is the intelligence asset the entire time. I think so. I think she is a part of that puzzle for sure. Alan Dershowitz has also demanded that Maxwell be interviewed.
You think Ghislaine Maxwell is going to appear for a deposition before House Oversight and implicate herself in any way? Get out of here. Dum. I mean, listen, I think it's great. Mike, kudos to you, Burchett, and others for voting on this. But you know what? She's not going to implicate herself. She's appealing her convictions and sentence. You think she's now going to roll into Congress and be like, I totally did all of this and then some, and let me tell you all the people that were doing it with me. Stop the insanity. Oh, wait, that's a Jillian Michaels thing, right? And we don't like her because she's on a full MAGA. Stop the stupidity. I'll just say that. Stop the stupidity. It's just like the grand jury records unsealing. It's just like this Todd Blanche meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell. Look, we're never going to implicate ourselves in a way if we're criminal defendants that's going to sit there and just do the pile-on. And we're going to have a whole other conversation on this channel about double jeopardy attaching because she's gone to trial, etc. But I think Ghislaine Maxwell is a wild card. And because she's not predictable in terms of what she's going to say and do, I think this administration is just going through these motions of acting like they're trying to aim for this transparency and to get this accountability when we all know it's just not going to happen.
I think, everyone is hating on Midas Touch, okay? Shut up. Everyone stop shitting on Midas Touch. They're the most loyal soldiers, okay? They are servants they are the Fedayeen of a dying breed of Democrat, okay? Everybody calm down. They're incredibly important. They are the spearheaders of the dark woke movement. Okay. They are the remaining Bush era anti-conservative thought. They are the ones who are radicalizing your mothers. Okay. You need to understand something. Your mom is watching Midas Touch on YouTube and she is developing opinions about what the Democrats should and shouldn't do. They're the ones who are radicalizing the wine moms into saying Hakeem Jeffries should die to save America. Anyway, let's get back to the Epstein case from CNN.
Going away. So the president has shifted to say he supports transparency and in a rare move seems to be handing off power, so to speak, saying it's up to the attorney general to release any credible information and evidence along with those grand jury transcripts. Now, 11 House Republicans have signaled support for the bipartisan move making its way through Congress to force the Epstein files to be released. But it's hit a bit of a brick wall right now. House Speaker Mike Johnson on Monday shut down any chance of a vote happening anytime before September. Let's get to the White House for the very latest on this. Elena Treen standing by for us. You brought us this new statement just as it was coming out. What does this new statement from the Justice Department mean?
I think it's still to be seen what exactly this could yield, Kate. But I think what is clear is that they are recognizing that this position that they have really stuck to over the last couple of weeks, this idea of trying to change the subject, to try to get the president's supporters and the broader American public to move on from it, isn't working. And so this is just the latest turn showing that, okay, they recognize they need to put out more information. I want to read for you just more of that statement that we got this morning from the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche. He said, at the direction of Attorney General Bondi, this is a quote, "I've communicated with counsel for Ms. Maxwell to determine whether she would be willing to speak with prosecutors from the department. I anticipate meeting with Ms. Maxwell in the coming days." And then, Kate, we also got a statement from Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney, David Oscar Marcus. This is what he told CNN. He said, quote, "I can confirm that we are in discussions with the government and that Ghislaine will always testify truthfully. We are grateful to President Trump for his commitment to uncovering the truth in this case." So again, of course, a couple key questions now about all of this. One is, what exactly are they going to glean from this? Will Maxwell be truthful? Does she have ulterior motives? Of course, you mentioned she's in prison now for serving a 20-year sentence. You know, they have to determine what she says, whether it's credible and whether they can release it to the public. I'd remind you, the president has now repeatedly said that he's giving the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, it's up to her to decide if there's credible information to release. She can choose to do so. But all of this, again, is another question, really, is if this will be enough for the people who have been pushing for this administration to release the Epstein files. That has really been what people have been asking for. You mentioned those Republican members in Congress who are pushing this effort.
I really do think that they're just going to hit the, well, you guys said you wanted to release the Epstein files. Well, who better to ask than the person who was directly involved, Ghislaine Maxwell, and then they'll just use a horrible testimony. Wait, what the fuck is this? JD Vance meets with Tim Dillon to explain Epstein. Netanyahu meets with the Nelk Boys to explain Gaza. All we need now is Putin to explain Ukraine to Bert Kreischer. I mean, they did do that. It's Putin did that with Tucker Carlson. Clip of Tim Dillon saying JD Vance told him no compromising Epstein tapes exist. Jones, Trump's admin is heavily implicated. Dillon, I had dinner last week with the vice president.
Okay, I'm not going to name names. And so, but you nailed it when you brought up Netanyahu. So let me, if you've got time here.
We have all the time in the world. I just want to add, when Bondi said we have 10,000 hours of video, she said we have 10,000 hours of video. I had dinner last week with the vice president. He told me that was commercial pornography. They do not have videos of any.
Oh, if JD Vance said that, then okay. Well, you guys had dinner together and he said it during dinner. Oh, well, I guess pack it up. No need to question this any further, guys. JD Vance said so in a private dinner with Tim Pool. Yeah, this was also funny. RFK Jr. admits he twice flew on Jeffrey Epstein's jet and wife had a relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell. Or did I say Tim Pool? Sorry, Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon, my bad.
Powerful person in a compromising position. That's the party line that they're going with. If that's the case, why would Pam Bondi call it evidence? Why would she say it's evidence? She's not an idiot. She's the Attorney General. Why would she say she has files on her desk if none of these implicated anybody? It just feels like they're covering something for sure.
The Trump.
Are you right or left? Brother, I'm right wing, of course. I want the truth. I want truth to prosper. I want truth to prosper, brother. You don't understand. That's why I'm right wing. What's more right wing than wanting American workers to have better rights in their workplace? What's more right wing and patriotic than demanding that we earn our keep, that we make in return for our labor, we get more of the power, we get more of the finances. It shouldn't be faceless, lifeless global capitalists that take advantage of our work. I'm right wing, brother, and that means I'm apolitical. I'm apolitical, brother. Damn right. CNN pressed Mahmoud Khalil to condemn Hamas 3 times. Are you insane? Oh my God, these guys are rabid sociopaths, dude. Guy who is literally guy who is straight up was taken political prisoner by an administration that they're supposed to be antagonistic towards for violating the First Amendment. The administration is criminal, okay? And you decide to attack the victim here? Holy these people are real freaks. DHS is already using this clip. God damn, dude.
To force
we'll get to that in a second.
To have them release these Epstein files. We heard from many conservative Republicans, Trump allies, I should say, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Senator Josh Hawley, saying that they are getting calls, Kate, from their constituents about this, pressing this White House and this administration to be more transparent on the Epstein case. So what I think is very clear from the Attorney General and the DOJ more broadly is doing here is they recognize that their position thus far of trying to get everyone to move on from this, from releasing that memo over 2 weeks ago now saying that Epstein died by suicide, that there was no so-called client list. They recognize that that is not enough, that enough people are now saying we need more in this story, and this desire to get more information is not going away. So now it's really up to seeing what will Maxwell say, what would this meeting with her glean, and whether or not that will be enough for the people who are, again, calling for far more transparency than this Trump administration has so far been willing to give.
Yeah, and how this actually works, because she's like fighting her conviction right now. There would have to be, as Alan Dershowitz pointed out, some level of immunity agreed to. I mean, there's a lot going on here, but fascinating that the Justice Department is opening the door to this now. It's good to see you, Elena. Thank you so much. John?
All right, with us now, CNN chief political analyst David Axelrod and CNN political commentator S.E. Cupp. What about this, S.E.?
Okay. Asking Ghislaine Maxwell to help bail you out is not the plot twist I saw coming, and that's really interesting. But, I mean, a lot of this has been raised. What's she going to say? Is there going to be a quid pro quo here that makes anything she says not believable? The only thing I do know is that the conspiracy theorist is never satisfied. And MAGA influencers, this administration, created a dependency on this drug that is a conspiracy theory. They did it.
Yeah. It's all fake. It's all fake. It's all fake, you guys. It's just Trump did this to himself.
For Epstein, but lots of other conspiracy theories. And telling them to quit cold turkey does not work. The conspiracy theorist isn't there for answers. They're there for the conspiracy. So whatever they give them, this particular sect inside of MAGA is never going to be satisfied, definitely not by something Ghislaine Maxwell says.
So it's interesting. I've been looking through this statement that came from the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, and it's the end of it where he says he's reaching out to Ghislaine Maxwell. But the first line, David, is the Department of Justice does not shy away from uncomfortable truths, nor from the responsibility to pursue justice wherever the facts may lead, which actually may tell you more than the fact that they're reaching out to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, but not to feed conspiracy theories, the idea that someone who's in prison for 20 years is going to testify truthfully is really a stretch. I mean, she knows the president has the pardon power. She knows that the president has used it pretty liberally. I mean that in a different way. And so there is quite a bit of incentive for her to say what is useful and what is helpful. And, the idea that this Justice Department wants her to say other than that is also strained by the things that we've seen. So I'm not sure. It's just the plot just keeps getting thicker all the time here.
And it's also interesting because...
Who's this fossil? That's David Axelrod, former friend to Barack Obama, okay? Major figure in Barack Obama's admin who was uninvited from Barack Obama's COVID party because the list had severe limitations. David Axelrod was not allowed to attend Barack Obama's COVID birthday party because instead Beyonce and Jay-Z had to attend.
As for asking the Attorney General to go to a judge to release the grand jury testimony, as for going to Ghislaine Maxwell to ask her to say things.
To the Justice Department,
right,
not to Congress.
To the Justice Department. But these are things that the president doesn't control directly. The things that the Attorney General and the president do control are the files and the evidence, which she presumably
she could release
right now.
And suggested she would. Yeah. As
the fact that David Axelrod doesn't look as cool as his name is so disappointing is because he clipped his wings. He used to have a fat mustache. Permabam me loser. I'm not gonna do that, man. Keep spamming though, and you'll probably get auto-modded by the bot. And then when you get untimed out, you can keep spamming it over and over again.
he suggested, this is they are hoisted on their own petard or by their own petard, as Shakespeare would say. They created this environment in which, and now the environment is out of control.
And that environment in the House of Representatives, SC, it's possible they'll go home today without voting on anything for the week, because House Republicans are in a bind right now. They don't want to vote against releasing Jeffrey Epstein files,
right,
but they don't want to cross the president, so they may just do nothing?
Yeah, but from a PR standpoint, I'm not really sure what Mike Johnson's thinking, Speaker Johnson's thinking, because why would you want to prolong this over an August recess? Get this done, then everyone goes away, and you hope that it maybe gets eaten up by another news cycle.
Isn't the answer to that, this is what the president wants him to do?
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
The
But
good
it's
news
done.
is they may get home earlier. The bad news is when they get home, they're going to see a bunch of angry people who have a lot of questions about this. So.
Yeah, we just know what we're hearing
People
from
they
members.
ginned up. I mean, the list of characters you put up from the House of Representatives is not a surprising connection to the constituents that want more of these conspiracies, and they're going to keep asking questions because they conditioned these people to demand it.
With us is Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, a Republican from New York. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us. What do you think of this move by the Department of Justice? And what do you think about calls from some Republican members of Congress, including Senator Josh Hawley, to actually get congressional testimony from Ghislaine Maxwell?
Look, I think both are good ideas. I think anything we can do to give transparency to the public is a positive thing here. President Trump ran on being the most transparent president administration. He's known for releasing transcripts and parts of phone calls that he's had with other world leaders. He has been very transparent, and when you all of a sudden don't want to be transparent anymore, it raises questions and curiosity. And so I think it's a good idea, but I also have to ask the question as to why at this moment has this become such a big issue. Remember, Biden administration was there for 4 years. We never heard from the Democrats or Republicans, for that matter, for calls for this information to be released. And I think it is really interesting that this is happening on the 6-month anniversary of the president being sworn in, where he has delivered significant wins, from securing the border to attracting trillions of dollars in investment to providing the largest tax cut for working Americans, middle class and senior citizens, lower energy costs. I mean, it really begs the question as to what, they're just trying to distract. Now, with that said, I support these efforts to be transparent and to release this information to the public, but we do need to make sure that it's done in a responsible and cautious manner, so we are protecting witnesses and we're protecting the victims as well.
Reporter to Trump, do you support Ghislaine Maxwell being interviewed by the DOJ? They got their new talking orders.
We have to do in any case, and certainly
While meeting with the Philippines president. Pinoy gang, rise up. Swagapinos, rise up.
Support the Justice Department seeking an interview with Ghislaine Maxwell. Did you urge the Attorney General to seek?
I don't know anything about it. They're going to.
I mean, don't rise up too hard for your current leadership, but
Attorney General has reached out to Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney asking for a new interview.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that would
yeah,
be.
Pinoy L, don't mention us right now. Honestly, yeah, that's maybe not the best that Pinoy gang has to offer. Okay, the Swagapinos have to offer, but it is what it is.
Sounds appropriate to do, yeah.
Do you have any concern that your Deputy Attorney General, as your former attorney, would be conducting the interview, given?
No, I have no concern. He's a very talented person. He's very smart. I didn't know that they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much. It's sort of a witch hunt, just a continuation of the witch hunt. The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama absolutely cold.
Look at him trying to redirect. That's right. It's the real witch hunt is President Obama. Please stop talking about Epstein. Start talking about President Obama.
Tulsi Gabbard, what they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up to 2020 in the election. They tried to rig the election and they got caught. And there should be very severe consequences for that. You know, when we caught Hillary Clinton, I said, you know what? Let's not go too far here. It's the ex-wife of a president, and I thought it was sort of terrible. And I let her off the hook, and I'm very happy I did. But it's time to start, after what they did to me, and whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught directly. So people say, oh, you know, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released.
Damn, he's going to arrest Barack Obama.
And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level.
Lock him up.
Now to the latest on
House to begin August recess early amid dispute over Epstein files legislation. It's pretty funny that the House decided to call it quits quickly and expeditiously instead of having to deal with the Epstein stuff.